Growing up teacher. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a physical education teacher. Well, that's about the only activities I ever excelled in. So by the time I got to college, they had what was called adaptive physical education, which they combined the special ed and physical education. And that's pretty much the track that I stayed with. So I'm in my college class, in one of the academic courses, and the professor's going over a list of attention deficit. And I see, yeah, often fidgets, hands and feet, squirms around. Well, what other phys ed teacher doesn't move around? I mean, we're all active, you know, and there's a whole list about being active and running around and stuff. But then all of a sudden, the heaviness starts. And I look down at the list, which continues on forever. Difficulty learning basic skills in reading. Check. I mean, I must have killed Dick and Jane. Has messy handwriting. Yeah, check. May have trouble understanding jokes and stuff. I mean, I never even got poetry. Check. May confuse math symbols and miss numbers. Check. I mean, difficulty learning basic skills in reading, memory deficit, and all types of impairing ability to store and retrieve information, carry out tasks, executive functioning, planning, organizing. Check, check, check. I'm learning disabled. I have learning disabilities. Well, it wasn't easy, and we'll go back into my history to see exactly what happened. 2 years old, and I'm at the doctor's office.
Doctor, what's wrong with my baby? She just sits there all the time and she does nothing. She sits there with her head on her shoulder.
Mrs. Yacker, your baby's fine.
But all she does all day is just sit there. I mean, her other sister at 2.5 years old was climbing trees, and then the other ones didn't stop screaming.
Ms. Yacker, she will be fine. Just leave her be. Back then, they didn't know about early intervention. Anyway, in kindergarten, my first experiences in school,
God is good. God is great. I want my milk and cookies now. I want my milk and cookies now. Can I please have my milk and cookies?
well, Lolly, you know you have to say your prayers.
But I can't remember my prayers. Please let me have my milk and cookies.
You just have to try a little harder. Class, let's say our prayers again so that Lolly can have her milk and cookies. That was kindergarten. 3rd grade, my mother gets this conversation with the school teacher. So I come home.
Lolly, I just spoke to your teacher, and she tells me you run around the room, you're not following the rules, you're not doing your homework. I mean, what is this with you? All your other sisters are behaving so well in school. Like they're doing all their work. They're not running around crazy like you are.
But, Mommy, I mean, I thought I'm doing nice in school.
And besides, she says that your handwriting is awful. Just awful. I mean, how are you going to get by in life if nobody can understand what you're writing?
I'll try, but I mean, I'm having trouble with the L and the Y. It just, I don't know. I mean, I'll try. 5th grade, I come home with like almost all U's on my report card. I know it was terrible, but of course my mother has to take a look and see, and she's...
Lolly, this is just awful. Look at this report card you have. U's in almost everything. What is this with you?
I mean, I'm trying in school. I really am.
And math? You got a U in math? How can could you get you in math? Don't you know that math is in everything? You just can't get by in life without knowing math.
But like the division, it's hard. I mean, I try to get the lines right, and I just can't remember where the numbers go, but I mean, I'll try. Well, came 6th grade, and that was a determining time when everybody gets into language classes, and I really wanted to be in a language class. And then there was the SP classes. So I go home to my mother and I say, Ma, I want to be in a language class. Everybody else is in their language classes.
Read. That's the only way you're going to be in a language class. You've got to read.
Well, I did go home and read. I did make a language class, and I think the only way I got into the language class was because I guessed correctly on the multiple choice questions. So, anyway, I did end up going through college. I did try hard, and there was a time in high school. And I went up to the teacher. Wasn't happy with my report card. Miss Simpson, I only got an 80, and I thought it was going to get better than an 80. Well, lovely. I know that you've been doing very well in class. You raise your hands, you're there every day, but I can't give you better than an 80 because you just have to do better on the tests. Well, I'll try.
Lolly, listen, you got to go to college. If you don't go to college, you're just going to be nothing. That's it, just nothing. You got to go to college. You understand? All your sisters are going to college, and they're doing very well. So you really got to do well in school to get into college.
Yes, I know. Well, I did end up going to college, and I did end up teaching. And the first job I got was in teaching kindergarten K through 2. It was on the Lower East Side. And at that time, they called the students emotionally disturbed, emotionally handicapped. Well, anyway, the kids were just running all over the room, making all kinds of noises. So the first thing that I grabbed was a T-square, and I started yelling at it. This is not the way you behave! You can't run around like this. You have to learn, you have to listen, you have to follow the directions. Do you understand that? Well, all of a sudden, all the kids gathered around. Not one peep. It's circle time, come on over. I created that. And I had the puppet. Now this is Mr. Stick. Mr. Stick, are you going to behave yourself? Yes, Miss Yacker, I will. I'll listen. I'll try harder. I really will. I'll do my best. I'll read. I'll write. I'll listen. And I won't run around anymore. Okay. Oh, Charlie, you want to kiss the stick? Yes. Oh, Sam, you want to kiss the stick? Are you telling me that you're going to behave and be good in school and you want to kiss the stick? Aw, that's nice, Mr. Stick. And you too. Well, that was nice. The rest of the year went well, and that was good. I developed a whole repertoire of puppets too. But in my student teaching days, there was one person whom I remember to this day that really influenced me, and her name was Adele.
Miss Yacker, why do people talk to me like I'm retarded? The teachers think I'm retarded, but you're nice.
Adele, people may just not understand. So what are we going to do today? Well, from that moment I did learn, and of course I was determined to teach, and from her experiences, you know, that's one of the motivating factors. And, you know, to this day, you know, everybody has their learning difficulties or difficulties in life, but we kind of learn to live with it.